before you start dating, ask yourself this question. Are you truly at peace with yourself? Are you truly at peace with yourself? Now, I ask you this question because a lot of the times people start getting into relationships, start hooking up, and believe it or not, even start getting married without truly being at peace with themselves. Now, not being at peace with yourself can be destructive in more ways than one, but the biggest effect it can have will be on you, because you'll be trying to learn and trying to grow with yourself while you're in a relationship with someone else. And that person will have certain needs and wants that you may not be able to provide. You may be able to partially meet them, but to fully give them what they want, to satisfy their ultimate needs, their ultimate wants, you probably won't be able to do that because you haven't satisfied, you haven't conquered yours. So how could you be able to conquer someone else's? It doesn't make sense, you know? It's almost like a basketball player who's a rookie trying to coach a team. Mind you, he hasn't played himself, you know? He hasn't, won any championships. He hasn't ran in the MVP race. He hasn't competed against other all-stars. He hardly stepped foot on the court. So how could he coach an entire team? It makes no sense, right? Well, it's the same thing with relationships. If you have not understood yourself, you have not learned yourself, you have not mastered yourself, then how could you do the same thing for someone else? It's not sensible. You know what I mean? So that's one thing, you have to complete in life before you start to get involved with someone else, is to first understand yourself. Understand what you like, understand what you dislike, understand what you need, what you desire, understand what you ultimately want to have standing next to you. That's the most important thing, besides learning yourself, is to understand what you need, just to put it into a nutshell. But, a lot of people aren't doing that. A lot of people are winging it. They're trying to figure it out as they go with no intention behind it. And you're starting to see the ramifications behind that, And, it just makes me think of the Will and Jada situation, where Jada is going around and disrespecting Will, and Will is sitting there and letting it happen, and oftentimes taking up for her. That just shows many implications of him as a man. But more importantly, it shows that he has not studied who he's with. He has not taken the time to try to understand her. He just instead tried to, grow and learn and make her happy without putting the intentions, behind those interactions, But to each his own, but I'm just here to let you know that if you want a certain kind of relationship, whatever that might be, you have to make sure it makes sense. And you have to make sure you're in a certain position where you're able to pick and choose and select certain interactions that you want to have with that person. But in order to make those interactions come into fruition, what you have to do is you have to be who you say you are. You truly have to be who you say you are. It can't be no fronting. It can't be any smokes and mirrors. It has to be genuine, and it has to be valid, So keep that in mind. And, it all starts with finding peace within yourself. That's where everything, starts from. If you think about it, that's the root of it. is finding peace within yourself. Because oftentimes, particularly in this world, you'll meet somebody, they could be a nice person, could be genuine. But at the end of the day, no matter what their personality is like or what they appear to be, everyone has an agenda that they're trying to fulfill with you. It could be a good agenda. It could be a bad agenda. It could be something evil, or it could be something lovely. It all depends. And nowadays it could be a mix, But ultimately, it starts with you finding yourself. It starts with you fulfilling your own agenda for yourself, Like that example I gave earlier about the basketball player who suddenly becomes a coach, What if that basketball player took some time to develop his game, develop his knowledge of the game, learn about coaching, associate himself with other coaches or with, just coaches in general, like take the time to learn the position, learn the sport of basketball, and then he goes on to coaching. It's the same thing with you. If you want to be married one day, look into marriage, look into preparing yourself for the marriage life, preparing yourself for a long-term situation, and you can't be contradicting yourself. You can't be someone who desires to be married while you out at strip clubs every weekend. You can't be someone who wants kids, yet you hate kids. You know what I mean? You can't be someone who, wants to say they want to live a healthy life, an active life. Meanwhile, almost every day, you ordering pizzas, you eating donuts, you killing it with the chips. You know what I mean? You can't be contradicting yourself like that. The universe just doesn't, assist people who are going against themselves and their wishes and desires. You know what I mean? So it has to be on the up and up, and you have to truly align your life with what you want, So this is a message that I should add. It's for those who want a peaceful relationship, peaceful relationship. Now I'm saying that because, sometimes people will hear relationship and they'll have so many different definitions of what a relationship is. But I might add, these are for the ones who want a stable, committed, non-chaotic relationship. Everybody else with their, different definitions, might want to go to another video. But this one is just for those who want a peaceful, stable relationship, It just takes time, but also takes that understanding of yourself that you must bring to the table, to the relationship in order for it to work, in order for it to grow, in order for it to, be what you want it to be, whatever that might be. But like I said, it's a bit of self-mastery that has to go into relationships, particularly if you're a man, because you're the one who sets the tone. You're the one who makes sure that whatever it is that you guys are intending on doing, you're the one who are, leading that interaction. It has to be you. There's no other way, And if you're a man who doesn't understand himself, if you're a man who still is trying to find himself, then you might not want to be in a relationship, man. You might not want to do it. You might want to take that time, take that energy to figure yourself out. So that way, when you do get to a place of peace, of true understanding of yourself, then that other person has to be on their A game. They have to bring the same thing, because you can't, you can't give them anything less. You once you learn yourself and you're complete, the other person has to finish the puzzle. You could say they have to bring their best version forward. If not, you're going to scare them. You know what I mean? You're going to be intimidating to them because they're not going to look at a person who can't be fooled. Someone who can't be bamboozled. You know what I mean? Because you took that time to study yourself. That's big. We can't overlook that. A person who knows and has studied themselves, you can't tell them anything about themselves, you know, that they don't already know, you know. I know I keep using the basketball examples and just the sports examples in general, you know what I mean? But sports just applies to so much in life. And all my athletes that's listening to this, y'all can relate. But to bring LeBron James into this, there's not much you can teach LeBron about basketball, you know? You could probably teach him about math. You could probably teach him about finances, about psychology, about cars. But when it comes to the game of basketball, with his IQ, nah, man, there's not many general things you can teach LeBron about basketball, man. There's not much that he doesn't already know. You know what I mean? Because he took that time to learn it through repetition and repetition and repetition. You know, it's the same thing with life, you know. So think of yourself like that. Think of yourself like a puzzle. And whenever you're taking that time by yourself, when you're in, you know, the good times, the bad times, even the just okay times, either way, you're learning, you're growing, and you're slowly putting those pieces of that puzzle together each time, each day, each minute. You know, you're completing yourself, you know, into whatever puzzle you want to be, you know, because you can shape yourself into whatever you want to be, whatever energy you want to put off, you know, to people, and you want to display and hone. That energy starts with you. You create it, you know. And if you want a positive energy that you want to reflect onto the universe, you know, it starts with learning yourself. It starts with, you know, providing that peace that has to be found within you, you know. But that's it, man. I didn't want to make this too long. Just wanted to share a message with you guys, you know, just wanted to give that, you know, to the people and share it from my heart. So yeah, that's it, man. I'm about to go in, you know, make some dinner and hit the gym tomorrow. But that's it, y'all. Peace.